You're right.
Who the fuck's in that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I know he's not Carl Anka.
Yeah. Carl Anka don't look like that.
No, he doesn't, does that? Hiya.
You alright?
I'm Jay, this is Steve.
Hi.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Danny.
Is this that work experience?
Let's find out. Danny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I answered a random tweet the other day from someone who doesn't follow me, and then I just thought I'd put. He's like, "Oh,
Is it Alex Bagley?
come here."
Do you know what our screening process for this video is just getting more stringent, isn't it? We're just like, people just sending out tweets and people coming out and we're out with that.
Yeah, I like it when it's just me and you know.
But yeah, I give Danny a chance. I like Danny.
Why?
Well, Danny, where are you from?
Chester.
So I'm doing.
I did like Danny.
CH4.
And it's not your fault.
rough bit.
Whenever I think of Chester, I always think of Michael Owen.
Yeah.
And I haven't got Hollyoaks.
And isn't there a law in Chester about shooting Welshmen?
No, it's murder.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
the
it's
law?
murder now.
What is
So,
it?
no, it was that.
What was
Apparently,
the law?
myth is that
Shoot with a bow and arrow.
you can shoot a Welshman with a bow and arrow within the walls after 11 o'clock. Or
Really?
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
We got a bow and arrow here, you know.
You haven't got walls.
No,
though.
didn't we get rid of that?
No.
Did we get rid of your bat?
No, that's upstairs.
Why?
We got Joe, I just lied to you. We got a bow here. The arrows are at home.
Oh, right. Well, that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you keep one and not the other, you keep the ammunition separate.
Why was there this myth that you could shoot a Welshman with a bow?
I don't know,
I
but
don't think it was a myth.
There is
You
a
think you
thing
could?
that the town hall clock in Chester's only got 3 sides and not one that doesn't face Wales because we didn't want to give them the time of day. Apparently.
Because is a proper rivalry?
Well, it's like
About
a border
500
town,
years
isn't
ago,
it?
I think,
yeah. Is
There
that?
was- There was occasional beef.
Yeah. Kicks off now and again. I've heard Wrexham and Chester kicks off.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Have you been to one of those games?
No, but I've been around the town because
Yeah.
it was a bubble match, so you weren't allowed to travel independently to the match. You had to
Bullshit,
like.
that, innit?
Blackburn and Burnley used to do that. Have you ever seen those?
That was a bubble and squeak game.
Yeah. And it was like martial law. Like they put them all in
It's
coaches.
fucking nonsense, man.
Yeah. And it'd be like the whole of Lancashire Police would be there at that game.
Like, let's say you live in Burnley,
We'll do after.
but you're a Blackburn fan.
Right.
Let's say you had a fiver spare, right?
All right.
So let's say you live in Burnley, but you're a Blackburn fan,
Yeah.
right? You'd had to go to Blackburn
Yeah.
to come to Burnley to play,
Burnley, yeah,
and then
to
after the
look
game,
towards
they
you.
would make you go to Blackburn. You're like, I live in Burnley, mate. It's the most draconian mental law ever.
I used to cover that game. I remember interviewing some Blackburn fans once, and they said, "Do you know what the trouble is with Burnley fans? They're all just dead thick." It's like, yeah, that's true. They're all dingles. That's what he used to say.
Dingle,
Yeah.
top tier insult.
But it kicks off, man. It's got the highest rate of arrests
Really?
per
I thought-
100
I
people.
thought Cardiff and
No,
Leeds.
no. Burnley Blackburn was the national. It was the most violent game.
what was it? They was trying to vie for who was the most racist fan base.
I think so. I think they were most like who's more pro Brexit.
Who's got the bigger
we-
EDL at HQ
Yeah,
in their
that
town?
was it. It was like, hang on a minute, 94% of us voted Brexit.
We don't have another black mat.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they had a fight and the winner got a 24-hour McDonald's. That's what it was. They haven't got one yet. So that's what they had to fight over.
You seen all this bollocks in the news as well at the minute about the Storm Eunice.
Yeah, talk to me about this, Steve, because we're in the wrong game, all of us. Because
Yeah,
we should be sat in now watching Storms and talking about it, because I was watching one before and it had 200,000 people,
Yeah, we get-
concurrent views.
We're a massive deal. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we get about 2,000 or 3,000 watching us.
Yeah, and we're happy with that.
And someone was commentating on planes landing at an airport.
Yeah.
Which isn't weird.
Yeah.
And he had 250. That's 4 Old Trafford stacked on top of each other's worth of people as he was commentating on planes that weren't crashing.
That's why, though, innit? I think if we was sat and like people knew that one of the chair legs was dodgy, and at any time we could just fall on the floor.
That's that chair, man.
That's that, yeah.
More people would watch. It's like why people watch ice hockey, innit? Hoping that someone will.
Ice hockey's
Swat
mint,
someone.
innit? The way they just stop to fight.
I like how it's part of the rules.
Yeah.
And that they have a designated goon who's just like, get on there and go fuck someone up.
Yeah. And like the referee's like, hang on a minute, wait, they're fighting. Don't get involved, these two are having a
Yeah,
scrap.
and then you both get sent off.
Yeah.
But you're there for the fight.
And it's not like a soft fight, you know, like it's in football. It's
Do you know what
pushing each other.
terrifies me,
It's
though?
proper levering each other, innit?
What if I put my hand on the floor and you stand on it?
Oh, yeah.
Slice it.
Has that happened in ice hockey?
It must have done.
Come on.
There's no way no one's
Has anyone lost their
accidentally-
fingers in ice hockey?
I reckon that's like second biggest fear when you're a kid, and the first is quicksand, and it doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
that's the one thing that I remember
I've
worrying
not
about.
stepped in quicksand, but I have stepped in quick mud.
I've
Have
never-
you?
Yeah. I was going over I was doing a tab over some hills.
That sounds lovely.
Spread out like fuck, so there was no one for, felt like a few hundred metres in front or behind me.
Right.
and was bobbing
Have you got all
across
your
the-
kit with you? And all your
Yeah,
guns
so I'm
and
probably
everything?
I'm me plus 50 kilogram or something like that.
Right.
And it was only because I had my bag on, Bergen on, that I got out of it. Because otherwise, I think I'd have kept going.
That is.
So I've just stepped on what just looks like just quite clean mud, just like a flat top on it. Just gone straight in past my bollocks, and probably had a little bit of a bubble out the back door as well. Like,
I don't blame you. I'd have been hysterical, to be honest with you.
And every time I moved, I went a bit lower, and I thought, "Fuck off! I'm not dying like this. Not having that."
It's a terrible way to go.
And I just took my Bergen off, and then I dragged myself out for it like that. But it was proper sticky as well, where you go, lads, don't stand in that.
As if you've not got enough to deal with in the army. You got that as well.
But yeah, just mud, and you think it's sand, right? But no, just like really like
I didn't even know that was a thing.
chocolate fudge colour mud.
Quick mud.
Oozy mud.
Quick mud. I didn't even know it was like you could.
Yeah,
I'm
in Yorkshire.
like-
And so fuck Yorkshire, by the way.
Oh, I tell you what, we're running out of towns here. We better start being nice to them. Hey, we've insulting everyone. We don't mean
What's
that.
the crappiest town along the M62? Because there is some serious competition.
Oh, I don't know. Liverpool and that. That's in that conversation.
All right, you see Liverpool.
Right.
I'm going to raise you Halifax.
Halifax. We went to. My mate was DJing Halifax once, and we took a coach down there, and it all went off. And we ended up
Why?
getting a police
Because
escort.
you had your own teeth.
What
Yeah.
about the top end, like Ghoul?
Gould, see? Now, Gould's interesting
knowledge.
because no one's ever been.
Have you been to go?
I just think if you're calling your city Ghoul, you're already lost. And
Listen,
it's like Grimsby,
20
innit?
years ago, they needed to add an extra G and call themselves Google.
Kyle O'Connor says, tested positive this week. That being said, first brew I've been able to get to live in a while. So silver lining and all that up the paddock. I presume he means COVID there, so hope you get well soon. Someone's saying Hull, Sean says. Hull, is that on the M62?
I played
Yeah,
for Hull.
top end.
You are?
I played for Hull.
Did you?
West Hull, greatest amateur team in rugby
Was it
league
nice,
history.
the area?
I'm going to be honest. It's a little bit like Beswick, but more of it.
I went
Picturesque.
And like loads of Ronnie Pickerings kicking about.
a couple of months ago.
To Hull.
To Hull,
to
how
do
was
some
it?
comedy.
Yeah.
North or South Hull.
Central Hull.
Can't be central, there's a fucking
no,
river in the middle.
No gang ties. And it's one of those places where I'll describe it as it was better this time than last time I went. It's
Why?
just they've
It's
got some
improved.
capital of culture money, haven't they? So
When you go to those
What
gigs,
does that mean?
well, they've got money to enrich the area, and they didn't spend it on a mechanical
what
spider
does
like
that
Liverpool did.
But what does that mean?
They've got lights under stuff.
when you
know,
go to
put
those,
some
when you
personal
go,
lights.
when you go to those gigs, right, in Hull or wherever, do you take the piss out of people from Hull? Can you get away with that?
Not
Or are they
really.
a bit like?
I just like to do my stuff and get out in it. I don't want to
Right.
be like, you're because you
Yeah.
got to see them.
Is that not you're not your style anyway?
No,
Right.
Not really. It's shit around here.
No.
It depends where I am.
Yeah.
I mean, some places.
There
speak
must
for
have been
themselves.
some places where you go.
Oh, if I'm in Runcorn or something, then yeah, or somewhere like that where they know. But some people are dead proud. That's the issue.
Runcorn on the M62.
No,
Just off it,
M56.
Yeah.
So some people know and they're like, oh yeah, it is shit around here. But some people are like, what do you mean? It's the best place on earth here.
Yeah, people get very protective, don't they, as well? Especially if it's an outsider
What do you
slagging
mean?
it off.
Widnes is mint. Do you know what? This is the nightmare, right? And this
Go
is why
on.
rugby league never took off as the global phenomenon that it should have been.
Right, go on.
Because it's played
elucidate
by
us.
fuckwits in shit towns.
Why
Look
do you-
who it represents: St Helens, Wigan,
Yeah.
Salford, Bradford,
Whoa,
Leeds, Castleford, for fuck's sake.
Salford. You
And
can't
Hull.
throw
Not
Salford
only-
in without. Thank you.
Well, I did.
Right, because you can't say Widnes, Hull.
All right then, Swinton.
Yeah.
Catalans. Where's that? What's that?
That's like bit of France and Spain, kind of, isn't it?
Is that what it was?
Saracen.
Bit of
never
France
knew.
and Spain, kind of.
Swinton, anyway, is lovely.
And then Hull, right? And Hull's got 2 rugby league teams. And the thing is, it's an amazing sport. It's fucking all the action that you want.
Right.
It's physical.
Do you know what?
But it's just
I've
played
asked you
by
this.
shit towns.
I've asked you this about 500 times, but I'll make it 501. And you're going to get upset, but just answer me, please. What is the difference between league and union?
One's played by twats who wear cotton trader.
And the other one's rugby union.
And one's played by scallies along the M62.
Thank you. Finally, we got that cleared up.
People who love steroids and smacking a bird about.
Pecky.
One, you
Go on.
toss each other off in the showers, but it's all right if the jizz goes backwards.
Ah. Is that true?
That's rugby union.
Yeah.
With more piss drinking.
But on the floor, you have
Yeah.
to...
What is this with rugby players and drinking their own piss?
Rugby union players.
Yeah,
I've
why
never
did they
done
do
it,
that?
never seen it, but I know it's a thing. In
Yeah,
rugby
it's a
union.
thing of drinking your own piss. I mean, I just thought it was me. Pecky says, I'm from Halifax, knew it was going to get a mention in there. Thanks, Pecky. Pecky takes it well, good humour.
What's the best thing about Halifax? The M62.
Oh, Nim,
Howard.
Nim smashed it. Nim says, Aldershot, Bracknell, Winnersh, Taplow. Someone said, Sanson says Bradford has about 5 shops left. Bradford, is that part of the rugby union, rugby league?
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's literally,
collection.
they might as well call it M62 ball.
Factory ball.
Factory, yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to make this into a rugby league history lesson, but you know why this is?
I know that they split from rugby union because they wanted to pay the players, and all the toffs was like, no, we're doing it for the sake of it being amateur. They only went professional in 1995 because it was just lawyers and fucking toffs. It's a toffs game, mate.
Right, okay, that sounds fair enough.
There
Anyway,
was a team in Wrexham once.
what's that?
Yeah, do you remember?
Was it Celtic Crusaders?
Yeah. And they used to come to because a lot of them, they lived in Chester and not Wrexham because you wouldn't. But one of them was like, I remember talking to him, and he's like a Paco Rabanne model now.
Really?
Yeah, we were friends on Facebook for a little bit after the gig because we were chatting and that, and he was dead fit, and I was like, I don't know how you could play rugby.
Are you
and get
still
punched
friends
in the
on
face.
Facebook?
No, he jibbed me off.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it one of them?
It's too big for
too
me
big
now.
now. I don't want.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Did he actually unfriend you?
I don't know if he did or he just
Because
got
that's
too
a
big
bit
for
brutal,
Facebook.
that, innit? All right, or he just come off it.
He's just
unfriending someone.
He's got a
That's like, what are you doing on
fan
there?
account now.
What do you think you're doing? Looking at? I'll look at the charts. Thank you. You just leave it to me.
Notch says, is there a more discouraging name of somewhere to live than Gravesend? I'm going to raise him Failsworth.
Failsworth.
It's also the name of a test centre where you do your driving.
Is it?
Yeah, that's where I did my driving test.
Failsworth. Yeah, that's not the greatest.
Not
is it?
Winnersville, is it?
No.
It's literally Loserville.
I've never even thought of that.
It's like, oh, we can't call it Loserville. All right, call it Failsworth then.
Yeah, Failsworth. It's not the greatest, is it? Hey, like you were saying before, Grimsby. That's not the best either, is it?
There was another comment. Is Halifax where the random house is in the N62? That's just past Saddleworth, isn't it?
Is that the one where they literally wouldn't move, so they built the motorway around it?
Yeah, and just fucked his life.
You'd be
right
fuming,
up.
wouldn't you? Because you're on for a big payout. You thought, no, I'm going to dig my heels in here. I'm going to get more money.
It's called playing poker and losing. Joe.
Yeah, it isn't it? You say to missus, no. Listen, they've got a lot of money to build this motorway.
Get
Don't you
another
worry.
zero here.
Don't you worry, love. And then she's like, there's builders out there. What's going on?
They're not just going to build it either side of us, are they, you daft bitch?
Apparently, there's a
2 months later.
He's sat there on his own because she's divorced him.
Yeah.
was
My net curtain's always black.
there was a gig near there, and one of the it's quite a comics always talk about it in that area. And there was one that was going, how do you even? And someone just went, Access Road, and that was it. And everyone just went like,
Yeah, because that is the question, isn't it? Like, how
Just
do they
shut
get
him
out?
up straight
You
away.
can fucking see it from the start.
Obviously. They couldn't
It literally
just-
goes under like the eastbound one.
That's so horrible, that, isn't it? Hey, living in the middle of a
I don't
motorway.
know if anyone lives in it now, you know. I drive past it a lot.
They are.
And I haven't seen
it's
like
still like that for 30
sign
years.
of life.
You're not selling it, though, are you? Like, you're just going to have to fucking... Like,
I'd love to see
I don't know.
the estate agent's description of that.
Great
access to
great
transport.
access. Transport links like you would not believe. Trust me.
Close to local transportation.
Yeah, close to local transport. You know, yeah, it's great. Can we go and look at it? No. No. Just make an offer. Where's the most difficult place you've done a gig?
The South, I don't like it. I don't
Just
like
the South in general?
London
You're-
general.
you're on the right podcast there then, if
It's
that's
a
your
weird
attitude.
one. Don't like
Yeah?
it.
Why? What makes you say that?
There's just loads on in London as well, and they're watching you, and they're like, "Oh, I could have gone and watched someone I know around the corner for a fiver." Like, it's just that there's always a sense of there's something better around the corner in London.
Fair enough, yeah, makes a lot of sense. Anton Chigger, which is obviously the guy from No Country for Old Men, says Ben Chill. I don't think Ben Chill's that bad. As the name,
Oh, right.
yeah.
No.
I'm certainly not saying anything derogatory about Ben Chill at the place. So you're on your own if you want to do that. I've got to walk around the streets of Manchester, not a chance.
Yeah, there's a good chance. There's a few of them around. Isn't there?
Exactly. And they like a scrap. Are you watching a fight this weekekend?
No.
Why not? You're
Well,
not
one,
bothered?
we're on the rundown, so I'm going to be off my
Oh,
tits.
right, oh God. Try not to get cancelled.
Why?
Because I need you for certain things. Do you bother with boxing?
Nah,
Danny?
not
into it?
really.
I'm not really. I
I'm
don't
just
know.
fucking Amir Khan, so don't worry about it.
You don't like Amir Khan? I like Amir Khan.
I used to watch it when I was a kid, when it was on ITV,
It's
when
kind-
it was like Nigel Benn and that.
Yeah, I remember
That was
Prince
when-
Nazim Hamed and all
Yeah,
that.
that was when that was my boxing.
Yeah.
Danny
viewing
Shields,
career.
I'm going to need to see some evidence of this on my Twitter. He's just dropped in a super chat. He says there's a town in Donegal in Ireland called Muff and it has a diving school.
No
I want to
joke. He
see
said
a
no
sign
joke.
for Muff Diving School.
That's got to be a... Come on.
I want to see the sign for diving school Muff and then whatever the phone number is.
Come on. Get on your Photoshop,
I will ring
Danny.
them.
Get on your Photoshop and send it to Steve.
Anything there though you open is like you've got to do it, and like the barbers as well, like Muff Barbers, you've got to open that just because you've got to.
Well, yeah.
and if you don't, you're a fool.
Yeah, nice. Muff grooming.
What other sort of shite puns can we have on the word Muff?
I think that's it.
If
we
you
nailed
open
it.
a cafe, what are you calling it?
In Muff?
Yeah. Go on.
Come back to me. I'll have a good one.
Breakfast at Muffin is. There you go. There you go.
Danny, give Steve some evidence. I believe you, actually.
No Muff too tough.
Yeah, nice. That is unreal. Hey? Oh, I've been to Muff many times, says Ben Porter. Nice.
Oh yeah, call it Greasy Muff.
Greasy Muff. Ooh. Hang on a minute. What was going to do that? Yeah. We were maybe talking about some captaincy shit.
Yeah, not doing that.
Go on then.
I said I'm not doing that.
You're not talking about any captaincy shit.
No.
Why not? Don't you care?
You seen who our last 3 fucking captains have been?
Who's the worst captain for United? Go on. Was it me and you looking at the list the other
unlike
day?
Manchester City, we haven't really sex offenders. So.
Right. Who would you say? Can't believe he was captain. Is there anyone where you go, what was going on there for United?
Yeah.
Go on then.
You know who.
I don't, Stephen. I don't know what you're on about. Are you talking about Tony Valencia? I think he did all right.
Well, having a captain that don't speak was a novel approach.
It was, wasn't it? He was silent when he Valencia. Like, he was the last person you thought he's a skipper. Not because I didn't like him as a player, but he never spoke.
I mean, he's hard.
He was
I
hard.
loved how hard he was.
He was. Do you remember when he tried to strangle Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, I masturbated to that 4 times.
Yeah, that was him, wasn't it? It's just like just a week before the World Cup, and Sterling tries to kneecap him. So he's just like, "What do you think you're doing?" And you've seen it, Valencia's arms as well.
you wouldn't mess
He
with him.
could have snapped his neck like a chicken, couldn't he?
Valencia used to remind
It's
me
called
of like,
Muff Diving Club, by the way.
Oh, even
my
better.
God.
Tom's just sent them in. They got a logo.
So they're
Send
not
it to
teaching
Cam.
you then.
They need to be selling T-shirts because they'll be millionaires by weekend.
Send it to him. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I used to love Valencia, mate. He used to look like some mad baseball player. I thought, like from the 50s that you'd see in like a film. Like, I thought he was brilliant. But he shouldn't have been captain, like you said. I don't think he spoke English, did he?
We're having all this.
Whether or not he spoke English, he didn't speak.
No, he didn't speak. He didn't, did he?
Even if he spoke in Spanish, he'd be
Yeah,
sound.
he was silent. I can't imagine him ever having an argument or talking to the ref or anything or motivating his players.
Maybe he was
Just didn't say
telepathic. That's why he was
Maybe
perfect
he just gave
captain material.
Yeah, the Death Star stare.
Just went
even.
like that.
Yeah, like
And then you knew.
because at the minute we just don't seem to have anyone. Who was your favourite captain then? And
Roy Keane.
why was it either Roy Keane or Brian Robson? Right.
Roy Keane epitomised what a captain should be. Give you the death stare if you put a pass 5 yard away from anyone.
The boys went to see him the other night, didn't they? He was saying how he still don't like Alan Shearer.
Yeah. I love that he's old scrunchies like
20 odd years later, he's still not, he's
man,
not over
fuck
it.
him.
I'm not mates with him. Who was your favourite captain, Danny?
It's got to be Keane, isn't it? If
gotta
you're
be
our
Keane.
age, I think.
I mean, yeah, the only sort of thing for me is I was sort of old enough to remember the tail end of Brian Robson's career, and I still have a bit of a thing where it's like, Robbo is the
I
epitome
remember
of
him sharing
Captain
it
Marvel.
with Bruce.
Yeah, that's what I
When
mean.
they
It's
did
like
the
because the
little
thing with
double.
Robbo, and you talk about it, he's by the time the Premier League came about, he was in decline, which is still a lot better than most other midfielders who've ever played football. But he wasn't a first team regular. Whereas in the 80s, he literally carried that team for years, and
The whole
with
decade.
captain
The whole
performances.
The whole decade.
Have you seen the documentary on him?
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I know what you mean by that, but some of the performances and the goals that you forgot, like the goal against the Scousers in the semi-final, is just ridiculous.
Him and Whiteside only scored bangers. I think that was the crack.
Mark Hughes had a touch of that, didn't he?
Yeah.
I can't
He's
remember.
never scored a tap in
no.
his life.
Do you know what I mean? It was all bangers, when it was all world.
I think that's probably what made United in the 80s. You had Ron Atkins' complete lack of, well, other stuff, but like total lack of actual tactics.
Total lack of ability to not be racist.
Yeah.
Total lack of tactics. His whole tactics was, I'm going to pick the best 11 players and we're going to fucking have it.
I like that though, and I love it when I think it was the United way, because he's a bit of a pariah, Atkinson. People don't like to talk about his era that much and focus on him because of all the stuff that goes with it. But you can actually look at it with, put out to one side and look at what he did as a United manager.
The funniest thing Badil and Skinner ever did, by the way, was obviously his
that's
initials.
not a big
I know, but
pool
this
to
is
swim in, is it? Hey,
genuinely
what
funny.
out of the 3 funny things they've ever done?
There's some footage of him walking at the cliff, and they said Manchester United managers had a cyst removed from his chest this week, and then it cuts to Ron Atkinson, who's got RA on his jumper. Genius.
Fantasy football was good though. I watched it not long ago just to check it out, and it's all on YouTube, and it's still funny.
Right? I'm going to say to you, with a modern eye, go look at the Ray Houghton episode of, is it Phoenix from the Flames? I think it used to call Phoenix from the Flames when he used to like recreate an old goal.
Yeah. When he did,
Oh my fucking God.
is it good?
I don't know how they're not in jail.
Yeah.
The what? The Ray Allen one?
Yeah. Oh my fucking
Really?
God. Well, think of like all of the negative Irish stereotypes.
Ah, right.
So they have him doing the river dance. They have him dressed as a potato. And then the final scene is him dressed as an IRA guy.
What?
Go and watch it, right? Go and fucking watch it. Because
what?
it is fucking... Stop watching us and go watch it. It's so good.
I remember, like, it's mad that they have him dressed as an IRA guy. I remember once Patrick Kelly on his show had the option of blowing up a load of IRA weapons or a load of Westlife CDs. Those are the choices, and he got one of the Westlife lads to choose. I was like, all right.
Honestly.
We can get rid of one. It was like, let's get rid of the Westlife CDs. It's like, what is this? But in the 90s, you could get away with that, couldn't you?
Evidently.
Yeah. Well, look at, the whole Jason Lee thing, which is just minging.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Do you know what I mean?
Wasn't cool, was it?
No, so yeah, I don't know. I always think with fantasy football as well. I used to watch it when I was a kid, but whenever I've seen clips on YouTube now, I think it's not just being like, oh, you've been unwelcome. It's just not that funny.
There was the chat element to it was quite cool.
Yeah.
And the way they changed the dynamic of and made it like two blokes sitting on a sofa having a beer,
Yeah.
interviewing people.
That was
And
good.
some of the
I'll give
The
you
interviews,
format of it was
Yeah,
really
I give
good.
you that, yeah.
And the whole we'll base it because they basically wanted to just chat on the couch, but they're like, we're going to need to frame it around something.
Yeah.
And they were like fantasy
Because you
football.
think about it now.
Because no one give a fuck about it then.
No,
Fantasy football.
it's good because you're right, and a lot of what you see on what we do on YouTube, and that they had a guy with stats. Stato, I know he obviously wasn't that serious about it, but he's a stat guy, which is kind of what you have on YouTube. 2 guys just chatting and just messing about, guests coming in, ex-footballers, stuff like that, who, to do not serious, but a little bit more, plus little sort of comedy sketches and stuff. So a lot of it, like format-wise, it made sense, and you think, okay, that's quite sort of pioneering. But then you just look at the actual content. It is hard, isn't it, to watch sometimes.
I think
like,
anything from there, if you look at anything,
Yeah.
you go, oh, right. I think, like Steve said, you can't look at stuff like that with a modern eye and
No,
expect it
it
to
is.
be.
You just think, really?
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you can't.
And you'll be
expect
laughing
it
for the
to-
wrong reasons. Honestly, that Ray Houghton one. I mean, Cam, I've shown it you, Anna. The Ray Houghton thing.
What?
I've shown it a few people in here and just gone like, can you fucking believe this?
I'll be watching it on
It's
the M56 through a storm.
insane.
Really? I'm gonna have
It's
to watch
honestly,
it.
it's
I am
Jay.
gonna-
You're gonna have your hands on your head.
Really?
Honestly, it's
And they've got him doing this.
yeah.
They've got him.
They've got him
joining
like
in.
doing river dance dressed as a potato,
Do you know what? As well,
and the Pogues dress him as the Pogues as well.
how much do you reckon his fee was for
Might
that?
have been his idea.
About 250.
Yeah, but
Might
it
have been
were
his
what?
dream.
I can't imagine it was.
Do you reckon it was like, this will be really funny, and he's like, it's minging, and he's like, come on, get with it.
But it was all
You're
like
all right, then.
loads of like Irish drunk sort of stereotypes flung at him, and honestly, it was horrific. It's horrific.
To him, though, it still probably isn't as embarrassing as that forward roll.
It's bad. It's,
That wasn't great, was it? He almost ruined the goal, didn't it? Hey.
They should have disallowed
Yeah,
it.
do you know what I mean? The goal was like sick. I remember watching that in the front room, and the roll was just, what are you doing?
Forward roll.
The
Seriously.
yeah, the format was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
And probably paved the way for a lot of podcast, YouTube type shows, and possibly even our whole genre in a way. The sketches were good when you were a kid,
Yeah.
and it was a good segue and cutaway. And I think there's probably room for a show that's doing something along those lines. But I think the way culture's moving, anything that you try and take the piss out of someone for, even if you're not adhering to stereotypes or trying to take the piss out of anyone's race or sexuality or anything along those lines, in 5 years you'll probably get fucking cancelled for it anyway.
You can't do it now. Like, I know. Like, even on stage, you can't.
Is
Like,
it-
not that I would, but I've seen
Yeah.
it happen.
Do you
Like,
think
people
because
have
this
just
is
mentioned words and they haven't even like listened to the sentence? They've just heard the word and been like, "Oh."
Do you think it's because this is a big sort of debate going on at the minute? Is this sort of we're getting too woke, we're getting too sensitive, we're going too far with it? We've gone to like it is good that we're not selling racist jokes anymore, obviously, but there's this claim by some that it's gone too far. What do you make of it? As a
I think
comedian?
it's all context. Like, if you're into that and you're listening to that, and there's someone that does that, and they're doing it in a theatre and they're selling tickets to people that want to go and see them, not racist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Contentious stuff. Then fair enough, go and do that. But if you're putting it out there, like on Twitter, you can't be whinging when people are like, "Whoa, that's not right."
Yeah.
Like, if they've come to see you and they wouldn't normally come to see you, and they're like, "Oh, this is terrible," you're like, "Well, do some research, see what I do, come and watch."
Yeah.
Like, don't come and watch when you know what I'm into, you know what I'm about.
Yeah.
It's like going to like the opera, innit, and then going, "Oh, it was boring. There was no breakdancing."
Bit fucking singy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Well, it's all right, we're even in English.
yeah. But if
What's
then
she on about her
But if
shouting?
But then if someone who doesn't normally do that then tweets them doing an opera, then you follow them for something else, then you've sort of got a right to go, "Oh, do you know what, I'm not into that," you know?
Yeah.
Just like-
Like James Acaster's got a joke that mentions trans people.
Yeah.
And his whole premise is like, who would you fucking want to be giving stick to? Oh yeah, the trans people, because they've famously got everything so fucking easy.
Yeah, I've
haven't
seen
they?
that joke.
And that's a great fucking joke. That you shouldn't be banning the use of certain phrases and words and topics.
Totally.
But there's a way to find humour in any of those topics, depending on how you're doing it. He's taking a piss out of Dave Chappelle, is what he was doing.
Yeah,
Dave
he does one
Chappelle
with
was the target.
Ricky Gervais, I
of his
think,
joke.
is because he says that people were more angry at him taking a mick out of Ricky Gervais, like having a go at him about it.
Oh, taking a piss out of
Ricky Gervais for saying transphobic jokes, because Ricky Gervais took the mick out of was it Caitlyn Jenner or whatever? I can't remember. Ricky Gervais did something, and then James Acaster had a go at him, and then everyone went, "There's loads of people having a go at James Acaster for having," not because, like you said, "Oh yeah," because I picked on Ricky Gervais, who, the famously that sort
But
of.
even Ricky
real-
Gervais didn't. He explains that joke as well by saying the subject of the joke isn't a trans person.
Yeah.
It features a trans person, but the subject of the joke is celebrities that think they can get away with fucking
Yeah,
killing
because
people in
he's
the cars.
talking about the driving thing, isn't he? Yeah. Do you know
People
what I
don't
mean?
want to read into that though. They
No.
just want to, because that is the issue. Is some people do want to be offended, and if for those people it's so easy now, they can just look at a word and go, "Oh yeah, that," and you're like, "Did you read it?"
And
though?"
it's how you word it as well. Like I've seen, like sort of articles in the press which go, in sort of transphobic outrage or in racism outrage. You think when you actually look at what they're talking about, he's not done that. He's not said that. He's just that's like you saying that's a part of a joke, but that's not what you're taking a mick out
It's the
of.
same with any journalism now. Anyway, like
Yeah.
like you can see headlines and then people will be commenting on it without even reading the article.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh, this is fucking disgusting." And you're like, "Did you read it though?"
That's
It's not
a
really what it
famous thing,
said."
especially with football journalists, isn't it? Because they always the amount of journalists you'll see that say, "I didn't write that headline." it's like the people see the headline and go, "What is this?" Have a word with yourself.
They should do it first. They should do it first.
Do what? Sorry.
Go to their editor and go, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, because sometimes they have been stitched up with, like, if you look at the content of an article, you think that's not what the article says, but the headline is saying something like, I don't know, United need to sell Bruno or whatever.
I've got a theory about fake news that
Go on.
it was trialled in football journalism. Like, it was trialled on the back pages before the front pages. So how many times would you see, like, United have signed Ronaldinho, done deal, and there's never any kickback for that? You never go, "Whoa, you lied about that. You just wrote that hadn't happened and you made it up."
Yeah.
And they've gone, "Fuck, they're believing all these transfer stories that we're making up. Let's throw some shit on the front pages too," and I bet they'll believe that.
You're not too far from the truth, but gossip was started by the Sun,
Right.
in a nutshell, and I think it started on the back of their celebrity gossip, and they was
Like,
like
the 3 a.m. girls and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, like Matthew Wright and
it was-
Piers Morgan and them lot.
There's a book I read, and it was fascinating, and it was talking, it might be The Club, which I think is Jonathan Clegg who wrote that. I think it's The Club, which sort of talks about how the Premier League became the behemoth that it was. And actually a lot of it was not The Sun, but like the stereotypical The Sun reader,
Yeah.
in a way, in terms of how they packaged a lot of the content that was getting blasted at people. And that was the sort of aim for the 24-hour news cycles in football. And football was a massive delivery sort of method in a lot of technologies and a lot of content deliveries, and has been a driver in a lot of look at football Twitter is a thing.
Yeah.
And the way a lot of the gossip stuff was translated over from celebrities was done with transfers, because there's a inexplicable fever for transfers, I find.
People get annoyed with you, and you've had this experience. We all have. If you tell someone that transfer story isn't true, it's not happening. People get more annoyed than if you pretend it is.
Well, we did the maths, didn't we, one summer? We was linked to 206 people.
Yeah.
We signed 3.
But this is the thing that's
We
annoying.
weren't linked to them either.
If I give you a sandwich that was 97% shit,
Exactly.
you're not going to call it a ham sandwich.
I remember David Ornstein getting grief because he said that Arsenal weren't going to sack Emery or whatever before they did or whatever. He said something about Arsenal like that was true. He's like, that's not going to happen. You know, his job's safe. People like literally getting angry with him. Threatening
no,
him.
it's not. Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's the lack of accountability that annoys me. It's the same with like refs. Like, you know, when they say, oh, they should make them making mistakes is fine.
Yeah.
But at least go, oh, soz about that. It's a genuine mistake. The more that you don't do that, the more it looks like you're making it up on purpose, and it's not a mistake.
I had a referee, former head of the PGMOL, which I think is the professional fucking match officials summit or other, right? Which is basically losers in there.
Losers.
Fucking referees.
Losers.
Match officials, fucking summit or other. Professionals, whatever. And he was saying that since they became professional, referees do video analysis almost like players do on their mistakes. Now, that's internally verified and justified, and that's how referees do get dropped and stuff. Whoever the head of the referees is will sit around, what the fucking hell was this?
Yeah.
And they'll discuss it and they'll talk about it, and obviously if that happens week in, week out, they do get dropped and they get taken off the prestige games. But wouldn't you love that to be, maybe not public, but wouldn't you almost love some sort of summit?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if I see a ref not saying soz for something that's a blatant mistake, then I don't think he's soz about it. But if he just comes out and goes, look, it's a genuine mistake, I made the wrong decision.
Say, fuck me, did you see how fast he run?
But that's it.
I'm 42.
It's human
42.
error.
Can't fucking keep up with Neymar.
I know we've got quite a lot of super chats, so we'll get to them in a sec. But first of all, a word from our sponsors. Today's podcast is brought to you by Spitch. Now, Spitch is a free fantasy football game available to anyone in the UK and Ireland over the age of 18. Spitch is a fantasy football manager app that allows you to build your own team, collect points, and battle it out against other managers in the app. So it'll be right up your street. You love all that, don't you?
I'm already on it.
Oh, of course you are. Play for free, compete against your friends and communities with a chance to win a share of up to £70,000 on a weekly basis. So you can set your pitches.
Jay, can I interrupt?
Go on.
Listen, fuckers. You can play on the day, right?
Yeah, so
I'll just cut through all the guff Jay was going to give you, right? Joe, at the start of the season, when everyone gets excited and they pick the team, and then 1 week in you forget, and then you've absolutely tossed it up, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to do that with Spitch, because you can go, tomorrow we're having a 1 day fantasy thing, or this weekend we're having this weekend fantasy. Pick your team, beat your mates, crack on. Literally, it's that good. So for anyone that's got a life and doesn't want to spend all season dicking about substituting, triple captaining and messing around, you want to do it just in 1 day, Spitch is the one. Trust me, it's well worth doing. If you like your fantasy games and you can't be arsed being an absolute drip that does it all year, you absolute bookworm, then crack on with this. Poindexter.
Poindexter's a good insult. Click the link in the description to download Spitch and be ready for this weekend's fixtures. Sign up without any card details and get playing for free straight away. It's available to people in the UK over the age of 18 and Ireland. Remember to be gamble aware and make sure you are checking out the terms and conditions. Thank you, Stephen. Peter Kelly says, remember the Partridge scene of Coogan acting as a Partridge lookalike from Ireland and started singing IRA songs? Yeah, do you remember that?
That's the end scene of one of the things, isn't it?
Yeah. That was Hisham El Said said,
Black and Tan, which is a hell of a tune.
Yeah. Remember tweeting this to you, Jay. This is from Hisham El Said. Before Keano won man of the match when United beat Arsenal 4-2, and he shouted at Vieira in the tunnel, led by example, best captain. Yeah, that was meant, that wasn't it? Sam Ward says, do you guys think the atmosphere was particularly bad during the first half against Brighton? I'm at the top of the K stand and thought it was minging. I don't know. I've seen a few people saying I thought I'm in the TRA, which is, you know, it does what it says on the tin. It's atmosphere in there is usually mint, and I thought it was really good. I saw some people say,
was
it?
Not the usual crew there.
Was it not?
No.
Yeah, well, I was
My
like,
front room was flat.
was it?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny, but you
low-key.
need to, you can't be sort of
You know, throw a can at someone.
sulking about the performances if you're not putting the effort yourself. Do
I
you know what I mean?
forgot my bottle top, that's why.
You should have been getting behind him. That's sort of one of them that just, booed Maguire.
Yeah.
Aye.
Well,
There was a guy that was in front of us, in front of me and Ronaldo. We clocked it early doors.
You were
Came
Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, because he was on the pitch, Jay.
Oh, right.
Me and Ronaldo Brown,
Oh, even better.
who's not been to an aquarium. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm a member.
So a guy comes in with his missus, right? And it's all right if you bring your missus to the football and she likes football, sound. She didn't.
Right.
She didn't have a pot of glue where she was. She came in,
Right.
she took about 3 selfies, and then was more bored than I'd have been at the opera, right?
That's her Valentine's Day present, isn't it?
This is what we were saying. And he was so into it.
She just
Like,
wanted
and he kept like nudging her, being like, "Look, throw in."
He's
And like,
he's quality.
he was so overly
Yeah,
into it.
Hey,
It was
we're
like
going out tonight, love.
me and Ronnie had said,
Get
he's-
dressed up.
He's absolutely begged her
Yeah.
to come here. Look at how like he's into it and he's trying to get into it. She couldn't find a fuck to give, and I was just like, "This is horrific."
Do you know what though? Right, that's United versus Brighton in the Premier League on a Tuesday night. I went to the 1994.
I'm gonna be honest. That was more entertaining than anything else.
Just imagine her going,
but-
do you like
but-
my shoes? And he's like, you'll need some flats.
Yeah,
We're tier
yes,
2,
right.
North Stand.
Put your hair in a book. I
Top
went.
deck Stretford End is about
I-
400 steps.
I went to the 1994 FA Cup final, and there was a guy and his missus behind me, and she was like that. She was asking questions like, "So which one's Bobby Robson?" Just like didn't have a jar of glue about football in general. Like, which one's George Best? And he was like, "Shut up." And like, I was like, "This is the fucking FA
That's
Cup
on
final."
him, that.
Tickets were like rocking us shit, and you've brought someone who just would rather be anywhere else on planet Earth than watching United beat Chelsea 4-0.
That's not it. That's on him for not having mates, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point, that, isn't it? Hey, why don't you go and get yourself some mates?
You want to go to a match with your bird, and your bird's into football.
Yeah.
Crack on.
My missus
Totally.
is football. She got a season ticket. It's fine.
Right,
It's not
but
a
you
thing,
don't go
is it?
together because she can't be asked dealing with your shit. So she's like, "Fuck off! I'm going to go and enjoy the game on my own." And I think that's amazing.
She
right?
can't be asked with my blindness going, "Who was that? What was that? Who was that?" 'Cause
Asking
I
all
am
the shit.
blind. I am blind.
Where's Bobby Robson?
Yeah,
is that George
is
Best?
that Bestie there? Is that Eric? No, Jay.
Yeah, and
shut
that's,
up.
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But when you just like, it's like if fucking Janine texts me at some mad theatre show or something like that, and she's like, "Will you get off your phone?" Absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a bastard, you are. Can you not just sit down for 2 hours and not be on your phone? Just pretend to be interested.
Hey, Joey, we went to Buxton and we did a talk with Sir Ranulph Fiennes.
Oh, the guy that climbed
Fucking
Everest.
Only Everest, and then did Antarctica on his own. And then he circumnavigated the globe that way round.
Really?
Instead of that way round, like a chump, right? Went that way
Loser.
round for it. It took him like 4 years.
Serious?
4 years. And at times he was leaving his missus in base camps with another dude for like 9 months at a go. And you've been like,
What?
gives it a
I'll be
feel.
back in 9 months.
Genuine question. Do you reckon there was anyone at that talk that thought they were going to see Voldemort? Like, genuine question. Like, they didn't know thought he
No,
was
there was
Ray
a lot of
Fiennes.
crag hoppers in the crowd. And that.
Oh, was it?
Imagine that. Yeah,
Fair trespass.
yeah. We're gonna go and see Ray
Like
Fiennes.
wall to wall, like, two skin spray weight type
Yeah,
material.
them
yeah.
shoes that are feet, like gloves.
Oh yeah, the crowd knew what it was there to see.
I saw Ben Kingsley the other day.
Did you?
In Brighton.
Oh, really?
And I was
What,
just-
a show or?
He's an interesting actor.
Yeah. He was...
Is he tiny?
no, he looked quite tall, actually.
Because he comes across as being well smart, doesn't he?
Do you reckon?
He looked tall. I didn't see
I
him.
always think of him as like Don Logan, like quite not small. Like
It was like
do you know
here
what I
from
mean?
the LG.
I want to say
there.
like 5'4" or something.
Oh no.
No, he was taller than that.
Yeah.
Like a
And I
bald
was-
Maradona.
I was with my mate, and I was like, "Oh, it's Ben Kingsley." And he's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, he's an actor." And he's like, "What's he in?" Right? And I said, "Oh, Schindler's List." He was like, "Oh no." And I was like, "Oh, Sexy Beast is one of the best
I love that.
performances
Yeah, I
in
love
British
that.
cinema."
That's
He's like,
Don
"Oh no."
Logan.
There's loads. I mean,
And then he was the baddie in Iron Man 3, and he was like, "Oh, sick!" I was
yeah.
like, "For fuck's sake."
Went to Salford at uni as well, Ben Kingsley. We were talking earlier about fake news and all that. What do you make of that? The players calling out the fake news? Because you sort of had an inkling about this, didn't you?
No, I knew it was.
Yeah.
I told you it was last week.
I didn't know how many you want to go because he was like, knows a few pods, and he was like, "Yeah, there's going to be repercussions for this." I feel like this isn't just
Look,
going to go away.
There's a couple of players that I know,
Yeah.
and they had suspicions, and
Yeah.
there's a couple of agents that I know who had suspicions, and obviously we know quite a lot of journalists.
Yeah.
And even if the journalists aren't willing to come out and put it out on their own stuff,
Yeah,
you can often get the answers.
yeah,
And It's everyone you think it is.
And then, but then, like, people are sort of
All English, by the
yeah,
way.
and,
All English.
right? And but
Like Fisherman's Friend.
certain people are coming out and going, "This
read
isn't
that,
right. This is fake news, or this isn't true." You know, you had Falcon and Rashford, you've had Maguire and Dave McDonnell. Are you into that? You find that's all right? Footballers going, hang on a minute, I'm not having this one, or would you just think, just ignore it?
It's a bit like when Pogba came out and said, was like, I didn't say that to Ollie.
Yeah.
You've now set a precedent.
You got to do it all the time. And
Because there's been 400 articles saying that you want to leave United, and you've said niche.
So they all mean that you did.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
what
thing.
people look at, because Maguire said that, didn't he? He said, I'm not going to answer everything, but I'll answer this one. This isn't true.
And you know, there's players that I know quite well who've gone, I'm not fucking commenting on some frankly ridiculously wrong rumours. He goes, because if I do, I'm just going to end up commenting on everything. And they've commented on some stuff, and you're like, now you've set a precedent.
Yeah, and even and like it seems,
And they
to,
knew they'd do that if they did that.
it seemed to backfire a little bit for Mark as well. I felt sorry for him because he came out and he went, "This isn't true." Then Christian Falk went, "You're not true is not true," which is just getting into pantomime season. Like that's literally what he said, not true.
Here's the thing, right?
And then people going, "Oh, well, actually, Marcus is lying." Why do you
There's a
think he's
click in the
lying?
dressing room, but I'm not 100% sure it's a negative click.
Go on.
There is a click. So one of the lads that I spoke to was like, yeah, there's a bit of a click in the dressing room, and training's a bit like shit at the minute in terms of the atmosphere. It's not a good atmosphere. Now, on one hand, you go, okay, well, we're not fucking playing well.
Yeah.
I hope people are launching each other in training and calling each other, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the minimum I expect when you're not having it.
Yeah.
If there's a Portuguese click now, there's a lot of Portuguese-speaking players.
That's what I mean.
We've
It
got-
kind
we've got
of
like-
makes sense to me. That
We've got a
like,
load of Brazilians,
yeah.
we've got a load of Portuguese, and actually, two of the most respectable senior players in the squad, Bruno and Ronaldo, well, it would make a lot of sense that people want to gravitate towards them.
The people that speak the native language.
That's the thing. It's not always a click, is it? Just
No.
because you like talking to people who you get on with, it doesn't mean it's a click.
And yet,
Someone told me that.
Oh no,
it-
but I
it
mean
does
in,
appeal.
in general though.
No, because I've always thought that makes sense. Like they play for Portugal together, they speak Portuguese. Like when it was Herrera and Mata and De
Well, I was just
Gea,
about to
people
say
were going, "Oh, in that queue."
The Spanish clique,
Yeah.
which included Sergio Aguero, by the way, and I don't know how public that is, but he
Really?
was part of that little gang that used to come out around here. But
Well,
it was loads like Rojo was part of that, Bay was part of that. There was loads of random Spanish-speaking players that we had that was all, and that weren't Spanish, but they were like
the
South American or
Yeah.
wherever. That were all part of that mad little clique. Romero part of that as well. Victor Valdez for a minute was part of that.
yeah, that was
Like,
a great signing. That one
but-
worked out well, didn't
We
it?
had
But
more
like-
games for the click.
Hey,
There's like
Fucking hell.
there's like 15 of them. But was Zabaleta part of it? Does he speak Spanish?
yeah, Argentina. Yeah.
Of course he does, yeah. So like Zabaleta and Aguero was part of that. Now, if you as a United fan had walked into any of them up that road
Yeah.
and walked in and
Back in the
seen,
day, where was it? The living room or something? Or,
seen fucking 16 or 14 United players and been like, oh my fucking, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Sergio Aguero and Zabaleta. But is that a click? Or is that just people who've got a shared heritage?
Yeah.
That was one thing with Jose when he was at Real Madrid. He hated it, didn't he? Because he said all the Spanish players were mates with some of the Barcelona players who played for Spain. So like
Yeah, he made
Ramos,
it against it.
Ramos was mates with Piqué and that, and would message each other.
But
Casillas
what's
was
better
mates
then?
with,
But what's
you
better
know,
because
Puyol or whatever.
because you listen to like the likes of Rio and that speaking, and they used to have a United table.
Yeah.
Don't fucking look at me. Like he's grown up with Frank Lampard. Like Frank Lampard's uncle scouted him.
Yeah.
So like he's been like, Frank's my mate, but when I get to England training,
Yeah. But I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now from a club
that feels
perspective,
very
that's-
Fergie.
Yeah.
That feels like Fergie would go berserk if he found out you were hanging around with Steven Gerrard on your day
yeah.
off.
If you send him memes to Steven Gerrard,
Yeah, that's the last thing
mean,
you're doing for this football.
My limited experience is when we used to play for Chester Schoolboys, we were like that with like Queen's Park High and Kingsway and that.
Well, it's the
Even
same
though we were mates,
level.
we were like, I'm not talking to him.
Ben Kingsley's from Swinton. Apparently, didn't know.
Actually, there's definitely. I thought it was a Yorkshire, but he studied in Salford. But if he's from Swinton, even better. See, there you go. You were slagging off Swinton earlier on. Sir Ben Kingsley, Oscar winner, Gandhi himself.
Made it out, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's not even one of the Swinton success stories. He's just like an average person from Swinton.
How many serial killers Swinton got?
All right, don't start giving it all the bigging, yeah, because he's from Joyles, didn't he? So he thinks he's hard. He thinks he's hard because he's got the Shipmans and all them under his up his sleeve.
East Manchester has got a top number of serial killers.
It's weird how many serial killers come from East Manchester.
Yeah.
Like that little
Growing up
corner
there,
of the world.
I can see it.
Like, three of the worst, if not the worst, crimes in British history have come around that area.
Hindley, Shipman.
Yeah, the coppers getting
Dale
shot and
Cregan.
everything. Yeah, Cregan, Hindley. I remember doing a Vox pop round there when I was reporting, and I knocked on his door, and it was just after, Cregan and all that. And I was saying, like, the eyes of the world are on this town, and, Dale Cregan and what's gone on. And what would you say to people that think this must be, a horrible place to live? And he said, listen, yes, we've had Dale Cregan shooting police women. Yes, Harold Shipman was a local doctor. And yes, Myra Hindley grew up down the road. But other than that, it's lovely. Fucking hell. Sounds it.
Explains a lot. Doesn't it?
Hey, that was a great advert.
How many serial
for
killers
your
you know from Chester?
None.
There you go.
I don't know any anyway. There's a few people who kill Welshmen with bow and arrows. But
There you go. But they can get away with it if they do it within the town limits. Danny, where can people find you?
On the internet.
Why'd you waste your time with the internet, Danny? It'll never take off. It's a waste of time.
I've seen some of them articles from the early 90s. Do you think you're going to be doing shopping on there? Don't talk shit.
You're going to be talking to strangers on there? Forget it.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Danny MC Comedy and Instagram as well. And doing a little tour at the minute.
When's
Well,
your next?
starting.
When's your next gig? Where can people see you?
Tonight. I've got 2 gigs tonight, but I'm
Two?
doing
Where?
Chester and Liverpool tonight.
I didn't even know. Is that what you do? And you're like, well, obviously.
Driving
Like,
between gigs, yeah.
I thought it was like one for the night, and then that's it. You can
Sometimes,
chill.
yeah. I've done.
I think if you're selling photos out, yeah, but not done it.
No, exactly. But I've got a little tour. I'm doing Manchester, Frog and Bucket, March the 6th.
Yeah.
Still a couple of tickets left.
Get on there.
That's on that road.
Yeah,
Should we go?
literally there.
And
What
heckle.
day?
Sunday it is, March the 6th.
I think we're playing that day.
Yeah, it's the derby.
Oh, town after the derby.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh my God.
You won't be able to move for United fans. You won't see any City fans. They always go missing on the derby, don't they? In town,
Yeah, you don't actually see him around. Cheadle, though. Cheadle.
Stockport.
You want to be Cheadle? You're anywhere in the A6 kind of region.
Davenport,
Yeah. Can't move
Fulham.
from Poynton. Fucking Poynton, Cheadle. All these rough areas.
Make sure you are checking out Danny and all his good stuff on his Twitter. There's
Not
all
wrapping
links
up
in
yet.
there. No, I'm no. Calm yourself.
No,
I want
no,
to ask
no,
you about
it's
your
got 10
little
more minutes.
You got to ask do your little thing anyway.
Oh, right, yeah.
Go on.
Anyway,
hell.
well, let me just double check that it's not actually sorted yet.
Well, it isn't, is it?
No, it's not.
Thank you.
Right. So they're having it. Right then. So, we've got this little thing called Stretford Paddock Football Club.
I am aware of this, Stephen. You
Now,
do
the
mention
football
it every
part
fucking
of
day.
the
that I see
football
you.
club is big to me. It's a football club.
Right.
Now, I'm going to ask you a rhetorical
sorry you've got
question.
a beer for this, Danny.
What do football clubs do, Jay?
I'm going to answer, and forgive me if this is the most stupid answer ever, but I'm going to say play football. Is that not what they do?
Apparently not.
Why not?
I'm trying to think of the words to say without getting done by the league. Right, I'll just tell you what happened and I'll let you figure the words out. So, we were drawn against Old Stretfordians. Some might call it a Stretford derby, Stretford Paddock, Old Stretfordians. There's no other clubs in Stretford I'm aware of. So, it's obviously the bragging rights for Stretford.
The M32 derby.
Now, it's rained, so it's been cancelled. But preempting that it might be cancelled because of Storm Eunice in the mixer, I booked our own pitch because I'm here to play football, Jay. That's what I exist to do.
Don't you
We
call
play
people
football.
at Poindexter when you're booking pitches because it might rain? Hey,
Right,
Mr. Geek.
we're here to play football. I want to play football. The whole point of running, it seems to me like a lot of people see the running the football club as a chore to having the football club. You're here to, your one sole purpose in life is to play football.
Right.
So anyway, we said to him, it's all right, we booked our pitch, we have the same slot every week, it's 3 o'clock. And he went, we've got existing commitments, so I was like, what do you mean existing commitments? If this had gone to extra time, 'cause it's a cup game, quarter final, Jay.
Quarter-final of which cup? What's the trophy?
The prestigious Rhodes Cup, right?
That's-
So don't worry about it.
Right. I know about
So
the
we
Rhodes
said,
Cup.
right, it's an hour late. Some of the lads have got existing commitments. Fucking existing commitments. It's a time that you kick off. It's not like we've said, can you do 8 o'clock?
No.
It's a time that you kick
Yeah.
off. So I said, right, well, I spoke to our ground. I said, look, can we do 2 o'clock? And he was like, yeah, there's no one. I said, right, we can do 2 o'clock. And they was like, oh, don't want to play on a 3G. Last time we played on a 3G, 5 of our players got 75% of our fucking league is on 3G, Jay.
Really?
Right?
So that's just nonsense.
So,
they just don't.
as far
fancy
as I can
it.
aware,
It's
the
a bit
league's been in
windy.
touch with them and they just don't want to play us. So
Well, they are going to have to play you, aren't they? Or is it just
I
to
think
get a bye?
they're probably going to get in a bye, but I don't want to buy. I'm here to play football. This is what we're about.
What was his excuse for 3G? Didn't like
Players
it.
get injured on it.
Oh.
I mean, only 75% of football's played on 3G.
Just had me car valeted. I don't want them little black bits.
Exactly. They get everywhere them rubber crumbs, don't
Do
they?
you know what? I think we're 20 minutes away from them going, actually, all 50 players in the club have got COVID tonight.
That would be the obvious get out of jail.
Yeah,
free
well,
card,
they should have
wouldn't it?
used that first.
Yeah, that's
I'd
the
have gone
easy
with
one,
that
isn't it?
first.
COVID.
Idiot.
Pathetic, though, innit?
Yeah,
COVID.
stupid.
Or, I don't know, just play the fucking game and stop fucking around.
So what are you doing this weekend then if you've not got that?
I'm going to be fuming on Twitter, probably. If anyone was like to play a
fuming
friendly...
on Twitter, surely not.
If anyone would like to play a friendly tomorrow afternoon at 2 or 3 on a 3G pitch, get in touch, tweet me.
It looks like it'll be a friendly as well with the way you're asking people, play a friendly. Right, so go and check Steve out then. He might have a game this weekend. It looks like it's not happening, but United will be playing Leeds. Go make sure you check out Danny's socials as well. Big thanks to Spitch as well for sponsoring us. There's a link in the description. Go and check them out and get involved in all the fantasy football stuff there as well. This has been The Brew. Thanks for watching.